CNBC has a report that honestly hurts to read. It's about the election, and look at this. Joe Biden's joint committees raised nearly $100 million in second quarter as big money donors get off the sidelines. They continue. Many of Joe Biden's bundlers told CNBC that the renewed effort by these business leaders is linked to the fact that Senator Bernie Sanders and more liberal candidates are no longer a threat to becoming president. Donors to the Biden committees include James Murdoch, Steven Spielberg, and Merck CEO Ken Frazier. Quote, "The big money donors are capitalists. For a minute, Bernie was close to locking it up, but then came South Carolina. They were petrified of Trump and horrified by Bernie. Now they actually have a choice. Before they didn't." Florida businessman and Biden bundler John Morgan told CNBC. This is the line that got me. The big money donors are capitalists. For a minute, Bernie was close to locking it up, but then came South Carolina. Guys, they thought it was a foregone conclusion, just like we all did. Remember the night of Nevada? Do you remember the night of Nevada? With that giant, overwhelming, crushing victory. We were like, oh, this is over. This is over. He won Iowa, although Mayor Pete tried some sketchy-ass stuff there. But he got the most votes in Iowa, won New Hampshire, won Nevada, and we were all like, oh, it's happening. It's happening. The donors looked at that same thing, and they were like, that's it. That's it. Bernie wins. The Democratic Party is now the party of Bernie Sanders. The Democratic Party is now becoming the party of Medicare for all and free college and a living wage and ending the wars and regulating Wall Street. They were like, we're done. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? They would have sided with Trump. Now, they say they hate Trump, but Trump gives them tax cuts and deregulates them. So ultimately, they'd be okay with him, even though they don't like the mean tweets. And they don't like his temperament. But they thought Bernie was going to win. See, guys, I feel like this stuff is so important. And you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of in the Hillary Clinton documentary, they had moments as well when Bernie would not go away and he kept hanging on, where they had moments openly behind the scenes where one of them said, Hillary's top staffers, Bernie Sanders is going to be the Democratic nominee. They said that in 2016. In 2020, even though overall Bernie's performance was worse, he started so hot out of the gates that the donors were convinced Bernie was going to win. I don't know if this is a fair reaction or not, but this actually makes me mad at Bernie more. Because he was right there, man. He had it. 100%. He had it. And he blew it. When the time came to make the proper adjustments, he wasn't able to make the adjustments. He wasn't able to make the proper arguments. He wasn't able to get his ducks in a row behind the scenes to get the counter endorsements to Biden's endorsements, which really helped put him over the top. He didn't have that killer instinct that he absolutely needed. But the donors thought it was over, and they thought Bernie Sanders was going to win the Democratic nomination. Well, now, see, what happened is all those big money donors are now coming back out going, okay, oh, thank God. Still a neoliberal corporatist party. Everybody donate to Biden as much as possible now. But I think overall I do have a moment of hope, or I do have some hope to end this segment with. Guys, don't be so convinced that our project isn't possible, because our biggest enemies definitely think it's possible. So never get so down on what we're doing that you think, what's the point? This is all useless. We're never going to win anyway. The whole thing is rigged. Listen, they're going to try every single dirty trick against us. And they will. And we're going to we're going to have some big losses. But guess what? We're also going to have some wins. Go talk to Elliot Engel how he feels about the leftward shift in the country. We have Jamal Bowman. We have Mondaire Jones. At the state and local level, we have DSA people getting elected all over the place. All over the place. So you don't have the luxury of feeling so down about the loss, particularly because even our harshest enemies are like, oh, you think there's no way you'll ever win? Yeah, definitely. There's no way you'll ever win. They know that there's a possibility that will win in the long run. They know that this march towards social democracy is going to continue to gain steam. Because you know what? We actually stand for stuff. They don't. They stand for the status quo. They stand for business as usual. They stand for being diet Republicans. They stand for the tax cuts for the rich and the Wall Street deregulation and the continuation of the wars. They stand for an ideology that is deeply unpopular. The only reason Joe Biden really pulled this thing out is because of Bernie Sanders' strategic failures, but more importantly, people hated Trump so much that they defaulted to what they think is the safest option in Biden. So it was just an anti-Trump backlash. That's it. Well, guess what? The whole anti-Trump idea, that's not an idea that they could run elections on in perpetuity. When Trump's gone, Trump's gone. And so they're going to have to stand for something in the future. We already know what we stand for, and we argue for it on a daily basis. So even though things went south, in some ways the future is bright. And it really is a little bit of a relief to know that the people who really run the country, the big money donors, the corrupt ones, they thought, well, we had a good run and our time is up. It looks like it's going back to being the party of FDR. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know how far off it is. I know there's a lot of speed bumps in the way, but there is a light at the end of that tunnel. So keep fighting.